Good morning, everybody. We have to speak quietly because Caroline's still asleep up there. And today was the day I was supposed to post my second vlog from America, but it's also the day after Wild Country and the North Face have just released the video from Kinkasan, Japan. And so, Caroline convinced me that it was probably a bad idea to release two different videos at the same time. Obviously, at first told her that it was stupid and I didn't have time, but here I am, way too early in the morning, trying to rush out another edit, and the result of which you're probably going to be watching, well, right now. So today's vlog is going to be slightly different to usual. There's going to be a lot more talking from me, a lot less new footage, but I thought it was kind of an interesting subject to work on, and that is what it takes to put together a video like the video we've just released from Kinkasan. So what I wanted to do today was to go right back to the beginning and just walk you through some of the steps that had to come together to make this video possible. Maybe if we're lucky we might see Caroline.
What time is it?
It's not so early, you're just lazy. So, right back at the beginning of the project, well actually we have to go back way further than the project itself, because this project would never have happened if we didn't already know Yuji. I think it's obvious for anybody that follows the trips that we do. Yuji's kind of our idol, our mentor. He's the only person that I've ever met where the phrase never meet your heroes just doesn't apply. That doesn't mean he doesn't have his own, issues and quirks. He's human like everybody, but when you walk into a room with Yuji, everything just somehow feels a lot calmer. Anyway, over the last probably 5 years, we've done a big project with Yuji every year. We've been to Mount Kinabalu in Borneo, we've been to Reunion Island, we've been to the UK trad climbing, France sport climbing, and then finally back to Japan. It was sort of the logical next step in our trips together. I think we've shared with each other different parts of our own personalities, and finally it was Yuji's turn to show us what Japan meant to him. Right from the get-go, the project seemed super interesting. He came to us with the idea of visiting a tiny island surrounded by granite sea cliffs off the east coast of Japan with unlimited potential for amazing new trad routes. He then told us that the island itself was one of the worst hit places in the 2011 disaster, when Japan experienced that huge earthquake and subsequent tsunami, as it was basically the closest piece of land to the epicenter of the earthquake. The island is home to a Shinto shrine. I think the shrine itself is around 800 years old. There used to be 20 monks living there, now there are just 2. There's a small non-profit climbing organisation called First Ascent that first discovered the potential of climbing around Kinkasan and thought or hoped or believed that maybe one day the island could be turned into a climber's paradise as well. So first of all they did something with Yuji the year before, and then shared with us all of the details. So Caroline and I both decided that this seemed like just a wonderful idea, and that we had to go A for the climbing, but B to try and help in what little way we can with the reconstructions of this beautiful, amazing place. Before we even set foot in Japan, we have to build these projects from the base. That basically involves creating a project document, collecting a load of nice images, creating a description of the project, and putting it all together in a nice pretty package to motivate the sponsors to give some money. It's during this stage that you decide on the full team of the project, so in addition to Yuji, Karo and myself, we wanted to involve another climber, and Yuji suggested Toru Nakajima. Toru is the new generation of Japanese climbers, but what makes him very interesting is he's going about it in a totally different way. Whilst most of Japan is focused on competitions and preparation for the Olympics, Toru is out there bouldering, sport climbing and trad climbing. And as impressed as we are with Yuji for his way of life, Toru takes climbing to another level. But it doesn't stop there. I mean, yeah, if we were just going on a climbing trip then it would stop there. But we're not. On this trip to Kinkasan, we decided that we were going to take care of all of the filming and the editing. This meant that we had to actually choose and work with the cameraman that we had ultimate faith in, and afterwards work with somebody to edit it that we knew could really bring out the right sort of emotions with a project like this. Eddie Giannelloni is this handsome man. Well, he's not always dressed like that. That'd be too distracting. Eddie Giannelloni is a guy we met actually through Yuji. Being a big, loud American, Eddie makes a big impression. He's definitely not shy. We spent only about 4 days travelling and hanging out with Eddie, but I think after those 4 days it was clear we were going to be friends for a long time to come. Since then, Eddie's been with us on several of our trips with Yuji. We knew we could count on Eddie to be out there every single day, regardless of the conditions, working his ass off for us. The trip was incredible, and the island more than surpassed any expectations we had. The rock there is almost endless. It's quite actually intimidating to know where to even start. Kinkasan was just a heaven for all types of trad climbing. You have perfect, easy cracks next to immaculate face climbs. There's just something there for everybody, for all levels of trad climbers. After the trip's all done, we come back home and have to try and put it all together. We decided before we even went on the trip to work with a guy called Johan from France. He's actually the guy that does the Relais Vertical Epic TV web series. Johan actually used to work in TV, and so he has a very different background to a lot of the climbing filmmakers out there. A background where he first and foremost worked and learnt about film, instead of being a climber that just picked up a camera. And so he has this very interesting way of seeing projects and actually creating a story out of all this footage. We've worked with him now on a few Epic TV projects and decided to ask him if he'd be interested in working with us on this. Even beforehand, he was helping us to work on some story concepts or some ideas, and at least telling us what sort of footage we should focus on getting whilst out there. Still, he ended up with a hard drive full of almost 500 gig of random footage. So the poor thing had, I think, quite a horrible time of sorting through everything and trying to make something that was, watchable. But in the end, I feel like Johan did a super good job. The only thing that is left now is for you guys to watch it and give us your feedback, because it's only with that feedback that we'll be able to move on to new projects with new ideas and hopefully in the future make things even better. So here's our video, Treasure Island. Enjoy! Last year, when Yuji went to visit the south of France for a wind-down climb trip, he'd actually just been to Kinkasan. He'd opened a few new trad routes on this tiny little island off the east coast of Japan and showed us some photos. They looked great. A little later he sent us a few more photos and we started to talk seriously about doing a new project.